Okay. All right. Well, that made it easy, huh? Okay, Aida.
Okay, I am here to call the meeting to order. Steve is coming, but he part of a search at Miami, so we weren't exactly sure when he'd arrive. So here I am, welcoming everybody to the November 11th, 2021 board meeting, Yellow Springs Exempted Village School District. I'd like to welcome everybody and ask everybody to sign in if you haven't signed in, and also to let the public know if they have any comments. There's a portion of our agenda that will permit public comments, and also just to remind people that we don't talk about students or our staff. And let's go. Let's call the meeting to order.
Con. Mayor
Here.
Ellison. Present. McQueen.
Here.
Turner.
All right, we're going to go into the approval of the minutes. And is there a motion, please, for the October 14th, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
All right, anything anybody sees that needs any change or question? James, no?
No, I said no.
Oh, okay, great. Me neither. All right, roll call.
Mayor Henley.
Yes.
Ellison. Yes. McQueen.
Yes.
All right, again, acknowledging the people that are present and moving into communications and reports. Sorry, I'm going between my camera and my computer, so it's a little... Okay, any community comments? No?
Mr. Hatter, can you check to see if there are any community comments, please? Thank you.
Moving into our administrative reports, who would like to go first?
I can go first. So this event, the first event actually took place today. The Mills Lawn tennis courts are the home of the Mills Lawn Veterans and Peace Park. This was done in conjunction with our student council and our second and third grade classes. And this will be at the tennis courts from November 11th through the 19th. So we ask that, community members and families come and visit this. There is a wall of service and a wall of remembrance for the veterans. And Mills Lawn families had an opportunity to submit names for this. So it was a great event. The choir had an opportunity to sing, and the students were able to tie the tags with each name on it to the fence. So it was a wonderful event today. And we got it in before the rain started, so that was a plus. So thanks to Joe Franny Reichert for that, and everyone else that was involved. The second event, we have to thank the high school students. The Yellow Springs High School United Student Society invited some of the Mills Lawn students to come to a mixer, and that was held last Friday. There were about 60 to 70 people in attendance, and it was just an opportunity to hear the African drumming, have some food, and there were door prizes. The Mills Lawn students then went to some breakout sessions, and Mikasa Sims and Nan Meekin were there to help the students make a freedom quilt, which is in our main hallway coming down to the gym from the office. So if you have an opportunity, you should look at that. It's really neat, and it's up already.
That was also in the young people of color.
And the young people of color, yes, thank you. And we have one of our PBLs, and it is the Color Me project. It is through well, throughout the school, it's all students. So you can see some of the pictures there of the students. It was funded by the Yellow Springs Community Foundation, and each Mills Lawn student received a box of Crayola Colors of the World crayons, and then they are going to do activities in their class with John Gudgel, and it will talk about who they are, how do they see themselves, and how do they want others to see them as it pertains to their color of skin. So that's been a neat project to kind of watch unfold. And then the last thing is the Bulldog Jog is back. It will be a 1 mile or 5K, whatever you prefer. I am trying to get my body in shape for the 5K, we'll see. But that will be on November 26th at 9 a.m. and it will start here at Mills Lawn. And then you can just see some of our PBL projects that are going on right now. And I'll try to highlight one each month or two.
Nice. All right, that's it. Anybody have any other comments?
That mixer was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Really good turnout. I was able to be one of the, I don't know what, mediator for one of the classes there. So, and yes, the drumming was really awesome, and a lot of the kids had a really good time. So.
I should probably also say that one of our 5th graders, Ezra, was with the drummers, and so he's learning how to play, so it was neat to see him go down on the court and be with the adults.
Nice. Right.
All right. Before I start my report, I want to introduce to the board a new hire. So Alex McPhail-Palsy is our new English language arts teacher. So he's coming in, replacing the position where Desiree Nickel was and then Erica Andrews was temporarily. So Alex has 6 years teaching experience, teaching in Jefferson County Public Schools in Louisville, Kentucky. Recently relocated back to this area with his family and just welcomed a baby boy about a week and a half ago. So he will actually be starting with us on Monday, so we're excited to have him starting in with us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to come up to the mic? You don't need to, but anything, if you'd like to say anything, we invite you to come forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to start with Yellow Springs. It's a very different experience that I'm really looking forward to. The high school I taught at down in Louisville was 1,200 students, so it'll be a slight adjustment. And so I'm really excited though to get to start working with the students at Yellow Springs. I've been working on curriculum and plans to hit the ground running when I go in on Monday. So just very excited. Thank you.
Nice.
Great.
Well,
Thank you.
We're quite lucky.
yeah. Well, and then he's upright. 1.5 weeks old. That's really lucky.
All right. I actually had not planned on talking about fall sports this month because I talked about it in the past couple of months. And then I felt like I could not talk about fall sports. So we finished our fall sports season out last weekend. Cheyenne was our last remaining fall athlete who was competing. She qualified for the state cross-country meet and finished 65th out of around 190 runners. So that's quite an accomplishment, and look forward to seeing what she does next year. So she still has a year left. So exciting to see that. The next picture for me is more about kind of the beauty of high school sports. So for many students, communities, schools, sports become an identity, and we oftentimes go to games to compete to win, but a lot of times the games are about things that are bigger than just winning or losing, and it's the team building that happens, the chemistry, the social dynamics. And then in this case, this is our breast cancer awareness game where we joined Legacy Christian and Red Team's War Pink for breast cancer awareness, and that game was October 14th. And then the last picture there is just our boys soccer team finished the season. A tough game against Marymount. It's 2 years in a row that they've beaten us in the district finals. So we're hoping next year that we can get them. But you know, when I think about our fall athletes, I think about kids who represent our school and community very well. And I can go to every game confident that we will be represented well and that our kids will make us proud. And that for me is more important than if we win or lose. So I just want to compliment all of our fall athletes. We're now in the winter season. Basketball is started, volleyball, or bowling is going. Our swimming numbers are very low. Cheer is going, but the fall sports season is underway. Our numbers are higher than they've been for years in winter sports. So, and that's across the board. Our girls basketball numbers are up. Typically, we're around 7 or 8. We're in double digits this year. Middle school, I think we have 24 boys out. So it's really nice to see. And I wonder how much of it is kind of rebounding from the pandemic of kids and to being involved and engaged. So it's just great that we're moving into that next season and looking forward to another great season. The next thing, this year, one of our district goals is to become a more equitable organization. So in the past, when our students take the PSAT, it was something where students opted into it and they had to pay for it. So this year we made the decision for all of our students to take the PSAT and they did not have to pay. So we did not want that to be a barrier. And in doing so, it kind of created this oddity where 2 of our 4 grades in the high school were doing something different. So why would we run our normal classes? So we used that opportunity to have a senior service day that put all of our seniors out doing community service for an entire school day. So the pictures that you see are different spots around. So our students, the first picture in the top left is out of the area. So our students went out and cleared pathways. They made new outdoor educational settings for them. The picture on the top right is our students working, creating Blacks and Yellow Springs encyclopedias. They made 50 copies of those. The next one down, that's students planting trees out of the glass farm. And then this is the one on the right is helping the tree committee. They're mulching at AX Park here in town. And then the bottom left, those are students who are removing invasive species in the Glen. And the bottom right, we actually partnered with the Senior Center, and some of our students went down and helped organize in the Senior Center. And then if seniors identify specific needs, we had our students go out and help around their properties. So you actually see 2 of our students helping harvest potatoes, which I think is kind of a unique thing for our students to have the opportunity to do. So our seniors were, I think, very appreciative of the opportunity to do this service during the school day. And I think in their reflection, they felt very fulfilled. And one of our students even said, normally I go home at the end of the day and I'm tired, and I'm going home today and I'm feeling very fulfilled. So to me, it's like, the idea that that's a graduation requirement for us, which is a bit unique, it's the right thing. So that was an exciting day, and our seniors actually were asking if we could do one of those every month. I said, well, that might be a little much. but we are actually looking at potentially doing one in the spring again. It's a pandemic. Our seniors need 45 hours of community service. It's been hard for them to get out and do that. So this gives them a real opportunity to see different organizations around town where they can do that service outdoors, safely, and then also to try to recoup some of those hours. So really a great day.
A lot of invasive species at my house that you want to just bring in. They take a lot of hours, I'm sure.
It's a great idea. Jeez.
The last piece is the OMA Art Therapy Partnership. So this is actually something when I reached out trying to establish senior service opportunities. Friends Care Center connected me with this program out of Miami University. And what it is it's where people go to senior centers or assisted living facilities and they use art as a means for therapy for the residents. So this is an established program out of Miami that I think has been running for about 15 years now. And they actually had a partnership with Friends Care Center pre-pandemic, but the school was never involved. And now the Community Foundation, I think, has granted a pretty significant grant for a local artist, Jenny Hack, who is going to be trained by Miami University to run this, and she's going to lead our students in this work. So our students will commit for anywhere from 5 to 10 weeks, and it's 1 hour a week, where they go in and they meet with a resident and do art work with them. And we've really tried to stress with our students that it is a commitment, because for the residents, it's not like, oh, we just going to do an art project or a craft project. It's like a grandchild coming to be there. So they're looking forward to that opportunity all week. So we have a few students who are actually considering this as a major in college and a future career. So the partnership aligns really well. So right now we have 4 students who have committed to it, and they'll be trained at the end of January, and then the actual work will begin, or I'm sorry, the end of December, and the actual work will begin in January.
Cool. Did they get community service time for this as well?
Yep.
Nice. Nice. Well, and did the community foundation reach out to the community to see if there's a local artist who wanted to do this?
I'm not sure how, that was established before we
Gotcha.
came on board. Yep.
Interesting. Well, that's great. All right. Anything for Scott? What you're going
I'm
to
going to
do?
do the student services. and
Oh, okay.
for Jack.
Yeah, I was looking, see.
Two reports tonight from student services, and the first really involves food service. And so, as you know, we are in year 2 of free food for our students because of the pandemic. And that is pretty fantastic. The downside to that is it has caused our free and reduced lunch applications to not meet where we really should be in terms of real numbers. So that is important because it's that number that feeds our federal programs, and it helps our E-rate percentage. And so when that's not an accurate number, then our federal assistance and E-rate assistance will change. We do have the opportunity to use an alternative number, and that is what Don First is going to pursue. That's more reflective of what our historical number has been. So I think right now we're at maybe, 137, and we have been at 190. So it does make a difference. We are purchasing quick apps, Pay School, that will help through food service, that will help parents complete the application, make kind of changes to things that are incorrect. I think that's part of it. It's kind of a paper process, and it's a little bit burdensome, so we're trying to take those obstacles out of the way to correct that. So the principals have done a great job of pushing out information to parents, and we have had some response, but we're just not quite where we have been in the past. The second thing is all school districts in Ohio are required over 3 years to do 3 different types of safety assessments or exercises, starting from paper, really, to the most comprehensive, which is really what's called a full-scale safety exercise. We are in our full-scale safety exercise year. So I'm going to say it now for the record, and principals will push this out in newsletters. I will push this out. We will push it out in a one call on Monday, November 22nd, in the afternoon, from 12:30 to 2:30. We will be doing our full-scale safety exercise. It will involve both buildings. The police will respond, so we will make sure neighbors know that if there's nothing happening here, it is an exercise. But these are so critical because it allows us to see gaps in our safety plans, in our procedures. It allows us to work with local law enforcement and other first responders to really understand what we can tighten up, so that if there is a real emergency, we are prepared. So, and that is the student services.
Oh, you want me to take over? I'm happy to do so. Terry, just one quick question about that. Is that a relatively new state requirement?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
No.
So we will now move on to, and I apologize for being a few minutes late here. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Just back up to the school lunch. How long is that going to continue to function in the mode that was brought in because of the pandemic? For everybody?
I suspect this will be the last year.
Okay. And does it also impact breakfast?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, sorry, you were whispering. I can't hear you. Yeah, right. Apologies. Okay, so we'll move on to item 3.4, and this is our district honors, recognitions, etc. So please.
We have a few this evening, board. I recommend that you accept the following donations to Yellow Spring Schools. And I want to communicate our great appreciation of all of these donations. $300 donation from Shannon and Jonathan Sharp for the high school track project. $15 donation from Kristen Bobbier for high school drama. $50 donation from Cynthia Powell for taking kids to lunch, and an $8 anonymous donation for high school homecoming. We are always appreciative of support.
Yep, absolutely, and thank you to all of those folks. Item 4, our treasurer's report.
This is as of October 31st, 2021, and if you go down one more page, 2 more pages. So for 4 months of fiscal year 22, in the revenue side, we're running just slightly behind projections. And then, if you can scroll down a little bit, Leslie. And then on the expenditure side, you down a little bit more, we're running 200,000, a little over 200,000 behind the projections, which is the way you want to be on the expenditure side. So then overall, if you can go down a couple more, so overall, we're running about $191,000 ahead of budget.
Great.
So, yeah, at this point in time, that's very good. So we're basically trending along with the budgetary. And then we just have the normal, and then this compares the 4 years against the entire fiscal year. And then I also have the normal reports, graphs and charts, the percentages and what it all means, and then the reconciliations at the end. So overall, at this point in time of year, we're holding our own.
Excellent.
Thanks, Kim.
Any questions about the report? As always, it's presented very clearly and efficiently. We've got spoiled by that. Okay, we'll move on to item 5, the adoption of the financial portion of the consent calendar. This is items 5.1 and 5.2. Do I have a motion for those, please?
So moved.
Second.
What do we need to know?
The first one is an appropriation increase, and there's a $300,000 increase for the CRF Broadband, and that is the grant, basically that's a pass-through, excuse me, that's a pass-through through the school district to other entities, and in this case, this will go through to Rebecca, who partnered with the village to create their, and help me out, Terry, their broadband backbone for their internet services. And then on 5.2, we have the approval of the 5-year financial forecast. And I'm not going to get into a whole heck of a lot of detail here. There's notes. This will be submitted to the Department of Education, and they'll have it on their website. And then it's also here as part of board docs. But basically what this, it just shows the same roadmap that we've been looking at for the past couple of times that I've done the financial forecast. You know, we'll have enough money until around the end of fiscal year 24, and then the fiscal year 24-25 timeframe. We're looking at new additional operating monies, you know, depending on how our expenses turn out and, you know, how the tax revenues and state foundation goes. We have a new foundation funding plan. Yeah, surprise. Let's talk about the fifth or sixth in my career. But this is based on the Fair School Funding Plan. It was devised with a lot of input from superintendents and treasurers. It's not yet fully funded, but the amount of money that we're projected to get in the next 2 fiscal years has been built into this forecast. So, and that's all I have.
Questions about any of those two items? I guess I just want to reiterate, Tammy, the broadband pass-through $300,000 grant, I think it was a really terrific collaboration between the village, Mavecca, and schools, which, and I guess I just want everybody to understand that we were involved in helping to create this broadband Wi-Fi system with the village, and I'm really pleased that that's chugging along. That's great. Should we call the roll on this?
Hammond.
Yes.
Ellison.
Yes.
McQueen.
Yes.
Hahn.
Yes. Okay, we'll move to 6.1, the superintendent report.
Thank you. I want to start by, I'm actually going to read my statement about the bond issue because I want it to be entered into the record. So, on November 2nd, last week, the Yellow Springs voters defeated the district's bond issue for a new K-12 building on the East Enon Road site. Yellow Springs schools are the heartbeat of the community. We cannot exist without broad community support. While Tuesday's election result was not the outcome we desired, the teachers, staff, and administrators of Yellow Springs will continue to serve our children in the best way we can, as we do every single year. The defeat of the bond issue in no way changes the fact that our buildings are in serious need of either costly repairs or replacement, and their condition will not improve over time. On election day, 3 new board members were elected to the Yellow Springs Exempted Village School District Board of Education. The task of addressing our significant facility needs will now fall to the new board. The board and I will engage in discussions to determine next steps to navigate the future of the district's buildings. As we have in the past, we will continue to have open, honest, and transparent conversations about our facility needs, the associated costs, and the path forward. I want to thank parents and families in the larger community for your continued support of Yellow Springs schools. I will continue to advocate alongside my teachers, staff, and administrators for the children of Yellow Springs schools and their success. We are fearless thinkers and we love strong.
Thank you for that,
Thank
Jerry.
you for indulging me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's it.
Okay. Good. Then the administrative portion of our consent calendar, and this is items 7.1 to 7.5. I'm noticing there isn't a place, at least in my copy of the agenda.
It's on there.
Oh,
It's on, it's.
good, just checking. So 7.1 through 7.5, a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Rock, paper, scissors at people.
Okay, who motions? Steve?
Yep. Second over there.
Okay.
Whole bunch of policies.
Well, before we even get there,
Okay.
I want to say that on my update, you see a 7.6, but you do not see it in the agenda. And I'm going to just name the letter.
Okay, good.
That is a compliance piece for our nutrition, and I will actually add that to our November 23rd meeting.
Okay.
We've already submitted it, it just needs board approval. So, yeah, I got
Yep.
some funky things going on with board docs this month. Policies. You have quite a few policies. You know, a lot of these come out of changes in the law. And so sometimes there are a lot, sometimes not too much. Now we're in this phase where there are a lot of changes. So what I've done for it is given you a description, more than I normally do, a lengthy description, in addition to the changes in the policy of what it is. And I'm happy to answer any questions about policies before I move on to other things if anyone has any questions.
The summaries are always helpful.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We never get it with Neola, but the board doesn't always see those, so that's very helpful.
7.2 is the revision to our health plan, health and safety plan. This comes out of an October 25th guideline change from the Ohio Department of Health, and that is called mask to stay, test to play. And basically, it's a result, if you remember hearing in the news, Warren County School Districts did a pilot about what would happen if students who were exposed, if we kept them in school. And after that pilot, which was just a few weeks long, after ODH reviewed that data, they felt it was clear that really students can stay in school. And so that was the change.
If they're masking.
If they're masking.
I just want to say, like, there's a lot of them, other places are not. And
That's why it's called mask to stay. That doesn't mean, I'm going to say initial masking. So the old guidance was, you had this flow chart, are you vaccinated, did you wear a mask, how far away were you? And so this is if you want to stay, so mask to stay. Doesn't really impact us because we have a universal mask requirement. The next part is test to play, which means if you want to participate in extracurriculars, athletics, you test in order to be able to continue to do that. This may have some impact on us, but I'm going to say that it will be minimal, and here's why. All of this pertains to exposure to COVID in the classroom. Almost all of our exposure, handful, have been out of school. Only a handful in school. So we are adopting it, but we had really good safety precautions all along, and that has really helped us. 7.3 is another resolution to allow for broadening the substitute pool. The state did that last year because no one could find substitutes. They are allowing that again for this year, as long as they meet certain background requirements, etc. And then 7.4 and 7.5 are two contracts that I want to make you aware of. One is final forms. This is part of our efficiency work, and this will make it easier for parents to complete all kinds of forms, whether it's for school, whether it's for athletics. It will allow us to complete forms internally. And then PeopleWorks is HR software, finally, that we will use to align our work to the degree we can with the church.
Questions about any of this?
I'll just get it for I mentioned this last month, the Career Center is already implementing it because of the Warren City project.
Yes.
Right, and yeah, the numbers of it are 97%.
Right.
Like positive. So it's really effective. And so we had to do it because of all the hands-on stuff, but I'm really glad they did it.
I think, and I put this in my update, they cited that when students wore masks and stayed in school, there was only like a 1% conversion rate. Higher if they didn't, but
Yeah.
so that's pretty good.
Well, I appreciate that, and I just want to say out loud that I also appreciate
had a much less disrupted fall term as a consequence, especially as compared to a lot of other districts.
We're taking the next step because tomorrow, right here in this very gym, is the first vaccination for our 5 to 11-year-olds. Completely booked.
Excellent.
Completely booked. So the second shot will be on Friday, December 3rd.
Great. Go ahead and call the vote, please.
Ellison,
Yes.
McQueen,
Yes.
Khan,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Thank you for that. And now the personnel portion of the consent calendar, items 8.1 to 8.3.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all right.
Board, I ask that you approve the personnel schedules as presented and the contract revisions for the superintendent.
Questions about any of those? Okay. Call the roll then, please.
McQueen,
Yes.
Khan,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Ellison.
Yes.
And that concludes the stuff we vote on. What remains here for our meeting is our item 9, board communications. And then I'm sure, as I must have said at the outset of the meeting, the board is going to go into executive session afterwards. We will not come back to vote on anything. So we'll have our career center report and then anything else, and then we'll vote to move into executive session.
Well, due to the convention, the OSBA convention, they were all linked. Decided not to, but we moved our meeting to next week.
So there you go. A brief report. Anything else from board members?
Did not announce the executive session, my apologies.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Food, there's cafeteria, y'all forgot, the restaurant is opening up in person.
Oh, great. Good.
From 12 to 2 on Thursday and Friday. So
Okay.
if you can make it, it is a wonderful experience. And I'm not sure if the hospitality department is doing it this week, but it will be soon. I know they're going to be doing a lot more stuff before the holidays.
Great.
Was it every Thursday and Friday?
No, like they had to space it out. It
Oh.
used to be where it was Wednesday
Yeah.
and Friday, but yeah, they've had to space it out.
Gotcha.
Kind of do it other weekly, bi-weekly. And the audit department is also starting to want people to think about getting some work done if they're ready. They just mentioned that this is coming up really soon, so that's...
So it's great. So gearing back to the stuff they
Exactly.
have to do. Good.
Yeah, other departments too are ready to do some outside work, so look forward to it. That's that. Now it's my report.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Anything else from the board? Can I have a motion then to go into executive session?
So moved.
And call the roll on that, please?
Khan,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Ellison,
Yes.
McQueen.
Yes.
Okay, and are we going to go?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. Thank you all this evening, and we'll see you next month.
Board, you might need to bring your chair.
Oh, we're rolling chairs? Okay.
Yes.
We'll help you.